Welcome for the part two of our discussion. So previously we discussed about the OOP. So we discussed what is an OOP, the object, and also what is in the OOP or the characteristic of an object. So this time we're going to discuss the class in a programming or in creating a program. So we are experiencing also the classes. Okay, so for now, we are going to discuss what is a class. Okay, so it is a blueprint or prototype that defines the variable and methods common to all objects. So again, that is the combination of the variables and the method. Okay, so if you study from the part one of our discussion, we tackle about the variables and the method in creating an object. So same with the classes. And also this is the values for instance variables are provided by each instance of the class. Okay, so later on we'll discuss also what is instance variables. Okay, elements of the classes. So we have the fields, properties, methods. So first, what is a fields? So fields is the members or variables of a certain type. Okay, so that is the variable. Next is the properties. So these are special type of elements which extend the functionality of the field by giving ability of extra management when extracting and recording it in the class. Okay, what is in the object? So we have the state and the behavior. So for the classes, we have the properties. So for the example, what is in the object? For example, in our setting or in one object, we're going to identify also what is in that particular object, and that is the properties in our class. Okay, next is the methods. So they implement the manipulation of the data. So the manipulation, it because in the methods, we are declaring the function of our object or the particular program. Okay, so for example, creating a class sample class. Okay, so please review the tutorial about the creating a program as a first program, okay, using the Java NetBeans. So in creating a project, you are going to notice that there are default codes already, which is you're going to run and your output is the hello world. Then right after that one, you're going to right click on the right side, okay, in your properties. So create a class and also name the class as sample class. Okay. So what is in the sample class? That is int grade equals 75. Okay, so that is how we are going to create a sample, a class. Okay, again, you're going to review the tutorial in creating a first program using Java NetBeans. Okay, so for your activity 2, please rewrite these codes in your Java NetBeans and run the program and also find the output. What is the output of this particular codes? Okay, if you're going to notice, in your first program, we have the default codes, which is the public static void main string arguments hello system.out that print ln hello world, right? So in this scenario naman, you're going to create an object in the main class. This is called as the main class, and you are going to create another class which is name the class as activity02. Okay, that means you are going to insert the codes class right before the public static void main or in your main class. Okay, so that you can access the codes that the activity 02 is implemented, and so that you can access class in your main class to find the output. Okay, it will get an error if you are not going to finish your codes here in your activity 02. Okay, there is no other missing codes in this particular activity or in this sample program. Okay, just copy this one and find the output. So run the program, then find the output. So if you already identify the output, then please write the output in your paper and then take a picture. Then again, send the image file of your work. Okay, again, you have the main class. Okay, in your main class, you are creating an object. So to access the properties that the object have, you have to create another class, which is activity 02. Okay, so in your activity 02, you have here your codes, the public static class, and then we have the base class. Okay, so we have the dogs and then the animals. Okay. Okay, so labeling the function. So we have here the C# codes and then also the Java. So why is it that we have here the C#? Of course, try also to explore another language class in creating a program. So this is best example also when using the OOP, the C# language. Okay, so how you are going to use the C#? Please install the Visual Studio updated version, or you can have the 2015 version. It's already have the 2019, but maybe you can experience error when installing this one. Okay, but then this is not the requirements, or you are not required. Okay, just try this codes also. Okay, so for the meantime, you are required language that you're going to use is the Java, since you already installed the Java NetBeans, and we already tackled about the Java NetBeans in your Comprog 1. Okay, so for the C# we have this kind of codes. If you're going to notice, we have here the console.write line. Okay, when we talk about the console.write line, that is the system.out that print ln in Java. Okay, maybe there is a different, but then a little bit different lang if you are going to compare how you are going to declare codes in C# and of course the Java. Okay, so we have here for the Java the labeling. Okay, so the access modifier, we have the public. For the static, that is the static method. The return type, which is the void. The method name, which is the main, since that is the main class. Okay, the arguments or the args. The exception list. The method body, or the body of your program, which is inside of the main class or this public static void. So that is your body, which is in this part, you are implementing the codes that will function in your program. So that is called as method body. Okay, and another one we have here, public static int max. So int num2, this is the parameter. Okay, so what is in the open close parentheses after the method name, so which is we have here the method name max, that is the parameter. Okay, so that is called as parameter. Okay, int result, ito again after the main class or the public static, or in declaring your function, so that is called the method body. Okay, so before the close bracket. Okay, so again, since in labeling we have here the access modifier, which is the public, we are going to identify the Java modifier. Okay, or the keywords in Java. So we have the private, default, protected, and the public. So in your journey in computer programming 2, you are going to experience also class how you are going to use the private, the default, protected, and the public keyword. Okay, so from the private to public, that is more restrictive access modifier, to the public, that is the less restrictive access modifier. Okay, so the word is restrictive. So we are talking about the restriction of the program. Okay, since that is a private, particularly when we talk about the private, that is uh, um, more restrictive, since that is called private. You cannot access immediately because that is a private, but we can access immediately if you are going to use the public. So that is called or considered as less restrictive. Okay, so what is access modifier? So access modifiers specify whether other classes can use a particular field or the method. Okay, so again, we are talking about the classes. Okay, so for the access modifier, we have the private, public, and the protected. So the methods visible to all classes everywhere. So that is the public modifier. For the private modifier, the methods can only be visible to its own class. Okay, so since that is a private, so it cannot be accessed by any other classes. Then the protected modifier, the member can only be accessed within its own package. Okay, so when we talk about the package, again, the Java package, we already discussed that one in your computer programming one. So please review. Okay, so the protected naman, again, can be only accessed within that particular package. So that is protected. Okay, so the most common optional specifier, we have the static, so used for class methods. Okay, the abstract, use a method does not have a body. Okay, so we are going to experience also the abstract program. Again, in abstraction, the method does not have a body. So there is no particular um, in your body na declaring the function. So, and then we have the final. So final use when a method is not allowed to be overridden by a subclass. Okay. Also, we are going to discuss in your journey the overriding in a particular class. Okay, so the return type, it is the data type of the value returned by the value method. So, or void if the method does not return a value. Okay, so return type if we're going to return in that particular function or not, that is a void. So we have to end the program. So yun siya yung meaning niya doon. So we have the method name. So for the method name should be a verb in lowercase. So you can use maybe you can use in an uppercase, okay lang man din siya. It cannot be the same with the class identifier. So make sure that the method name will not equal to the identifier or yung name of your class. Also, multi-word begins with a verb in lowercase, followed by adjective, noun, and or start with capital letters. So pwede tayo na mag-caps lock or if you want the lowercase. Okay, so parameter, it is used to receive data from a method. Okay, again, in labeling the function, we discussed that the method name, that after the method name is inside of the open close parenthesis is the parameter. So method body, set of instructions, or the function of your particular program. Okay, so Java class methods, static and the public. Okay, so we have here the example for the static and public. You can copy these codes and then try to run the program so that you can identify what will be the output of this program. Okay, so public class. So we have the class name method. Okay, so we have the two class, which is the methods, and then the main class, which is in this default codes that we have. Okay, so static void my method. So system that out that println static example. So that is the static example. Public void, may public method. Public example, so this is the public example. And then methods A equals new methods. So we are creating an object which is the methods, and A that my public method. Okay, so try to copy these codes and then find the output. Try to analyze also. Okay, for the class method definition, so the methods, when we talk about the methods class, that is the collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. Okay, so of course, we are going to identify this one, of course, kasi our method body, doon class yung function or the instruction, what will be the output of our program. Then we will talk about the instance variable, the variables that are declared outside any method but within the main class. Okay, so again, yung variable class is declared outside of any method but within the main class. Okay, when we talk about the main class, dun siya class sa particular or dun siya sa public static void main string args. Okay, that is your main class. Okay, for the local variables, it is declared within a method definition. Okay, so since that is a local, so lahat yun siya class inside of the method body is your local variables. This keyword used if has the receiving method call of a method definition. If we are going to get that particular information, we are using the this keyword or this. Okay, so we can have that another example on the next part of our topic to be discussed. Okay, so for now, that is for the classes. So see you on the next part of our discussion.